Most people think they know St. Patrick's Day. Well, they see a world painted in green. They imagine parades marching down city streets filled with music and laughter. They think of luck, of leprechauns, and of pots of gold waiting at the end of a rainbow. It is a day of celebration, a time for joy and community. But this bright, cheerful surface hides a story much older and much darker. The festive tale is simple. The real history lives in shadow, in loss, and in a world that vanished forever. It begins not with a party, but with violence and fear. We are drawn to simple symbols. A humble plant becomes an emblem for a people. Green, the color of rolling hills, becomes a uniform for a global festival. Symbols are easy to wear, easy to love. But history is rarely simple. It is a web of conflict, of pain, and of transformation. Behind the smiling figure in green lies an unsettling truth about what was lost. Listen past the noise to the silence that came before. The story begins not in Ireland, but across the sea, in Roman Britain late in the 4th century. The boy who would be a saint was Maewyn Succat, son of a Roman British official, a deacon. He lived in comfort, worlds away from the untamed island to the west. He was not devout, just a teenager living his life, unaware of the violent turn to come. His world was order, roads, towns, then shattering chaos. Irish raiders stormed the coast, pirates from the sea, plunderers, captors. In the terror, Maewyn was taken, torn from his family, his home, everything he knew, bound, forced aboard, sailing toward a hostile land. The privileged life was over. The crossing was terror. He was a captive, a commodity, sold to a chieftain in a remote, frigid corner of Ireland. The language was different, the customs strange, the beliefs older than memory. He was utterly alone. The boy of a villa became a slave, set to herd on the hills and in dark forests. Nights cold, food scarce, clothes rough. It was not a change in circumstance. It was erasure. No rescue, no clear path to freedom. A new, brutal chapter had begun. For 6 long years, this was his existence. A solitary life in the wild, his only companions, the flock. Days bled into one another, marked only by the rising and the setting of the sun. Wind, rain, silence. Stripped of everything, something in him began to change. Faith became his only solace. He began to pray constantly, hundreds of times a day and night. Not formal rites, desperate cries. His spirit stirred. Love and fear of God grew within him. Suffering was forging him into something new. The wild became his cathedral. He saw God in the light and heard him in the wind. Hardship outside, transformation within. No longer only a captive, he was finding purpose in despair. The crucible burned away the boy and forged the man he would become. He learned the land, its rhythms, its people. Captivity was preparing him for a mission, one that would define his legacy and alter Ireland forever. After 6 years, the turning point came. A voice in a dream.
You have fasted well. Soon you will go to your own country. See, your ship is ready.
It felt like a divine command, a promise of freedom. It gave him direction. He had to choose, and he chose to trust. He left the flock, fled his captor, aiming for the coast, but no ship in sight. He walked nearly 200 miles, a fugitive in a foreign land. Every shadow a possible pursuer, every stranger a threat, a desperate gamble, an act of faith. Somehow he made it. A ship was ready to sail. The pagan captain refused him. He had nothing to offer. He prayed, and a voice called him aboard. They changed their minds. They set sail, captivity behind him. After 3 days they landed, not in Britain, but in desolation. Food ran out, starvation loomed, they mocked his prayers. He prayed, and a herd appeared. They ate and lived. His standing changed. At last, he reached home, profoundly changed. When he returned in the 5th century, Ireland was steeped in ancient traditions, a complex spiritual world led by druids, judges, healers, poets, keepers of law and memory, their faith bound to sun, moon, trees and seasons. Patrick came with a single powerful idea: one God, not just another deity, an entire worldview to replace. His tool was simple: the shamrock, a way to explain the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, 3 in 1. Then the legend: he drove the snakes from Ireland. But Ireland had no native snakes, so what was he driving out? Many believe the snakes were the druids and old beliefs, a myth that makes cultural erasure feel miraculous, a righteous battle, tidier than the truth. Behind it, displacement, not spectacle. The shamrock taught the new, as the old quietly disappeared. What the myth reveals matters. What it hides matters more. Conversion was not simple or peaceful. Some welcomed it, but history is rarely smooth. His mission challenged power. Druids were spiritual and intellectual leaders. They did not yield without struggle. There were confrontations, danger. Then came absorption, replacement. Old wells became holy wells anew. Festivals transformed into saints' days. The new felt less foreign, but much was lost. Oral law, poetry, cosmology, held in memory, began to thin as voices faded. Monks preserved stories through a different lens. Deities demoted to folklore. The old fires slowly went out. Not a genocide of people, but the displacement of a culture. A worldview pushed to the margins, eventually forgotten by most. Patrick's story is also a story of loss. A silence fell, and a world disappeared. The new story is the one we remember. Over centuries, the man, slave, fugitive, missionary, became a saint. His struggles overshadowed by legend. His symbols became emblems of Irishness. Green grew political in later struggles. The diaspora carried the symbols worldwide. A solemn feast day morphed into global spectacle. Cities dye rivers, streets swell with crowds. A bright commercial culture eclipses a complex past. It is the final layer of the myth, forgetting. Beneath the green, kidnapping, slavery, cultural conflict, and an ancient religion lost. We see what replaced, not what vanished. The shamrock he used to teach is also grass over forgotten altars. Patrick was no villain. He was a man of his time, driven by faith forged in suffering. The rise of one world meant the fall of another. History is collision and transformation, cause and effect. We celebrate the voices that wrote and rarely hear the ones that fell silent. So when March 17th comes, hold two thoughts. Enjoy the music, the community. But remember the lonely shepherd, the clash of beliefs, and the world that disappeared. If you want more stories they don't teach in school, follow Legends and Lore Explained.